Being in a relationship that feels lacking in sex sounds like a trivial luxury problem and somewhat comedic, as if someone is complaining about not having enough tennis or yoga among couples, but the absence of sex is not a trivial matter in the world. At least it's a very serious issue and may even be the cause of the relationship's downfall. One notable statistic in the OECD countries' average annual rates is that 70% of those who initiate divorces cite lack of sex as the first or second reason for separation, if indeed there is one. A generalization we can make about couples is that a lack of sexual intimacy, meaning less than 4 times a month, is a warning sign. We should listen to why sex is an important part of maintaining the closeness of two people, because in sexual relationships, two people accept each other in the deepest way possible. Our seemingly dirty and embarrassing sides, deviant fantasies, and unusual desires are legitimized through other people's sex. Watching and accepting us as physical and psychological beings symbolize the end of loneliness and the reaffirmation of trust. Not daring or wanting to have sex with a partner is difficult to admit that one cannot be oneself in front of their partner. Lack of sex is bad enough, but what's far worse is how unfulfilled desires for sex tend to manifest on their own. The person who desires it doesn't explicitly ask for it. They might just timidly reach out, half-heartedly seeking reciprocation. They don't calmly complain, don't deliver articulate speeches about their confidence and how difficult it is for them to find it, and don't ask too often with full sympathy about what might be happening to their partner. They tend to quickly switch to symptoms, behavior where their disappointment and humiliation are acted out instead of discussed. They slam dishes. They consider it very cruel. Conflict then arises that seems unrelated to sex, but is caused by its absence. One starts to argue about in-laws in the kitchen. The disappointed party behaves sexually so badly that they start to look like a monster. The increasingly reduced likelihood of having sex ultimately leads the thirsty party to leave and cheat, not because they don't love their partner, but because showing their desire has become so filled with rejection that they go out for a little revenge. Lack of discussion about sex is very difficult to do because it simply feels very embarrassing to not be sexually desired. It plays into every worst fear of unacceptance. It's bad enough if it happens on a date, even more depressing if you have to admit it once rejected by your partner. For reasons of safety and long-term relationship commitment, there might be something wrong with oneself, but it's more likely there's resentment within oneself. The key to the reconciliation process is controlling Wilder's feelings of rejection and self-blame, the disgust to consider why the other party might stop having sex. This is the main fact that everyone fundamentally wants sex when it's unwanted because the conditions for having sex are unfulfilled and then not personally communicated. The rejecting party has a problem they don't share. In Jaws' household, there might be stranger reasons. I would do more sex if you allowed me to play certain fantasies, if you were more open-minded about role-playing, if you preferred kissing or wanted it rough or could be more submissive. The rejected person usually doesn't have a chance to hear these reasons in gentle and non-accusatory terms. Or maybe they've heard them, but without conscious awareness of what's really at stake here. There's no proper communication, therefore deliberately fabricated classic recommendations. It is that both parties realize that their entire relationship may depend on getting this right. It's better to write each other letters entitled, "What I Want from Sex." This is an opportunity to be deeply honest about your true sexual identity. Then both parties must take action. Taking other people's words seriously and with goodwill, two people will always be a little mismatched sexually, but we shouldn't be too afraid and angry about this. so that we create a second barrier in the form of heartache and shame. We must take the first step to find a compatible partner, the way in which what you want and what they want can be simply aligned, and the sarcastic remarks can stop every time a conversation about sex happens in the silence of the night. The angels of relationships floating above the bedroom and sounding their silence trumpets in celebration because another couple has just critically increased their chances of lasting longer together.